Hi there everyone, Carolyn Russin, professional life coach here. Coming here to talk to you about keeping things simple. We often get caught up in that feeling of more is better. Whether it's tangible things, the more we have, the better we're doing. Or whether it's other things, the more things I can do as mom, the better mom I am. You know, if I can say yes to everyone and take my kids and carpool them here, take them to this, so that, make their lunches, do all that, then I am a fantastic mom. And as many of you know, hi Debbie, that are in this mindset, it's exhausting. And this whole more is better, hi Sheila, it's not serving us. And yet it's a trap. We get sucked into this trap. You know, if I do this, if I take another course, I can do better at work. And maybe that's the case, but when does it end? It's just one thing after another, and it's another thing on top of you and your plate of things to do that is ever growing. So I really wanted to address this today. This is more really better concept. And it's something I really put a lot of thought into. And I actually came up with a number of points and learnings that I've had in my life. And I just want to share that with you, that, you know, sometimes more isn't better. It's just more. It's more things that drain your time, more things that suck the energy from you. It isn't necessarily fueling you. So just really kind of making that shift to things that are more real and kind of ground you more. Hi, Sherry. Those are the things that are really attracting me at this point. Hi, Debbie. So, you know, first of all, often life is richer when it's more simple. And, you know, it doesn't have to be big and extravagant to be wonderful. Sometimes, for example, here's one, 2 weeks from now, we're having neighbors over at our place, just, you know, 3 other couples coming over that, you know, we're all good friends, but we haven't seen each other for a while. And when I started thinking about, okay, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to make dinner? Are we going to do, you know, what are we doing? Because they're coming here to our place. And I thought, no, because I want to enjoy this too. And so we're just keeping it simple. And so we're inviting them over for drinks and dessert, you know, in the evening. So we don't have to worry about dinner. Heck, I can go out and buy a dessert, just have some drinks and everything's good. So keeping it simple, because now I know I will thoroughly enjoy that, opposed to if I was having them over, you know, making a nice dinner, getting everything fancy and fixing everything up and all that. Sometimes just simple is better. Looking at the quality over quantity. So I would challenge you this, even with your kids. When was the last time you actually had a nice quality moment with one-on-one with one of your kids? Because often we get, you know, so busy driving them here and there, doing this and that, and it's craziness, and you're just trying to get by, but it's not quality. And again, here's a perfect example. Our firstborns were twins. We had twins. And talk about crazy. Yeah, absolutely. It was busy. But what I learned was the really precious times were the times that I was spending one-on-one time with just one of them. Not together as a, you know, as a group, just one. Those are special times. My husband and I have made a point of doing that more often. So how many times do you spend really good quality time with whomever, whether it's your kids, whether it's your parents, whether it's your spouse, because that gets neglected over the years, big time. So quality time over quantity. Mindfulness is key. And we hear this word all the time, mindfulness. And what does it really mean? And really, I want you to think about being present in the moment. So really being aware of what's going on and not getting caught up in that frenzy of, I've got to do this and that and this and that, and how am I going to have time, and what, you know, I don't want to drop the ball. Just stop and breathe and thinking about being present in the moment and what you have right now. not about always wanting more, and that's what we often talk about. People who are the happiest are not the people who have the most. We know, we see it in the media all the time, where there are people that have so much financially, and yet they're miserable. So that's not part and parcel, but actually appreciating what you have now. So the people that are most happiest can see what they have and can appreciate it, opposed to always wanting more, always needing more. Gratitude, a big thing. Again, this is another big buzzword we hear all the time, but truly being grateful for what we have. You know, your bad scenario is often someone else's good scenario. Let me think that through. Your bad scenario is someone else's good scenario. You know, it's hard to make payments on your mortgage. Things financially are tight. You have a house. Lots of people don't. Lots of people are homeless. You know, there are always situations where your situation isn't as bad as it could be. And it's realizing that and then taking it for what it is and moving forward. This is a big one, I find. Focusing on experiences rather than things. Now, it's interesting, and I could be wrong here, but my personal observation of this is that over the generations, this is changing. And I'll give you my examples and why I think this. When I look at my parents who are still alive, and they have a lot of things that they really appreciate and value. And they're thinking, when they're no longer on this planet, what are we going to do with these things? Because I'm the youngest of all the kids, so we're all established. We all already have our own homes and everything. We don't really need nor want all these things. And it's funny because my mom would say to me, oh, well, you can sell it and you'll get a lot of money. And I'm like, I can appreciate when you bought them way back when, they were probably worth a lot. But now over time, people don't appreciate the things anymore so much, opposed to experiences. And so I see that, and then I see, you know, my generation's different. I can see my kids' generation is different, where it's more about the experiences. And I think that's fantastic, because those are the memories. That's what you'll take with you. Tech timeouts. Huge, huge. And I'm amazed at talking to people who say to me, oh, Carolyn, I'm really good with my tech. I can put it away. I can all this. And then I watch them and they're on their phone all the time. And so I think sometimes we really aren't aware of how connected and how dependent we are on our tech. You know, what if you went for a walk and you left your phone at home? I know, shocking, isn't it? Now, I can appreciate, I'm sure some of you suddenly felt really uncomfortable there. I have a situation with health issues with one of my kids where I have to have my phone on me all the time, but I have it on silent and I know it'll come through on my watch if I'm getting a phone call, and so I'll get that. But otherwise, anything from anyone else, during those times when I just need downtime. I need downtime for me, whether I'm just sitting quietly, whether I'm reading a book, whether I'm going for a walk, whether I'm meditating, whatever it is, I value myself enough to give myself that downtime. And finally, just decluttering. Like, it's amazing how good. I think I did a talk a while back about even your closet. And I went through this, I think it was right before Christmas or right after Christmas. Hi, Jan. Where I went through and I got rid of anything, and I tried on everything. Anything that I didn't feel good in, anything that I thought didn't look good on me, or I was a little questionable, and I purged. And it's such a nice feeling. Now when I go to my closet and I look at it, it's like, oh, okay, anything I choose, I'm happy with. And there's less. It's not as jammed in and all that, because that's overwhelming. So decluttering, whether it's your closet, whether it's your kitchen, whether it's your home, your office, whatever it is, it's such a nice feeling. And I know I talk to a lot of women who are like, oh, but Carolyn, it's so overwhelming. And so what I say to them is this. One of my clients, she was going to be doing her kitchen last week. And I said, look, what you do is the night before, not when you're going to do it, but when you're going to do it the next day, go and empty out a cupboard. And so you have all that stuff on your counter. Don't deal with it then, just leave it. But the next morning when you start thinking, oh, I don't really want to do it, well, guess what? You kind of have to deal with it because it's already out there. So there are little tricks of the trade to kind of get you going, but just kind of change it to little bite-sized pieces so you can do that. So, but decluttering is huge. So, you know what? Just simplifying things. Hi, Christine. Just makes things so much easier. Sometimes we make things so difficult for ourselves, and we just continue to say yes and take on more and more and more, and it's not helping us. It's just making us more overwhelmed, more stressed, more anxious. So even take the time to even write a list of what things can I say no to? You know, perfect example. I just got approached, and those of you who know me well know I love playing tennis. And I got approached to captain the summer team this summer. And I was just like, no, I can't. I'm too busy with my business, with my parents, my kids. And once you start saying no to people, it gets so much easier. And there's like no guilt. Like I had no issue saying, thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate that, but I'm sorry, I can't at this time. So starting to say no so that you can simplify. And just think about, you know, just it makes it easier on yourself, being able to say no and focus more on you. And now remember, like less is more. And taking those times to have good quality moments with the important people around you. So I hope this has helped. Give me a thumbs up if you're like, hey, this makes sense. And yes, I want to try some of those strategies. It sounds good. And if you hopped in partway through, I will post this in the group so you can watch this. Type replay below if you're watching this on the replay. And if this is something that you want a little guidance in, or if there are other issues that you're having and you'd like to have just a free chat, just to see, you know, even what do I offer? And would this even help you? Would this be a good fit for you? Would we be a good fit together? I offer free 15-minute calls. We can hop on a quick call and see where we're at. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful. And normally I am on at 1 o'clock. I had something in my personal life come up that I had to make a little adjustment, but next week I'll be back on at 1. Anyway, have a great day. Take care.